Four-time MVP was seen this morning at the Steelers facility as OTAs begin today in Pittsburgh. There he is, right there this morning. Aaron Rodgers arriving in Pittsburgh, greeting some people, getting ready to go. He's reportedly returning on a one-year deal worth up to $25 million. So he's reuniting with the Steelers, and he's reuniting with his former coach, Mike McCarthy. They won Super Bowl 45 together in Green Bay, including the playoffs. They've combined to win 109 games, which is the ninth most of any coach-quarterback duo in the Super Bowl era. Dan Graziano and Damien Woody are up with us early this morning. Dan, we have been waiting for this. I suppose it's no surprise. Tell the folks what they need to know about Rodgers being there today.
Well, they start a phase of OTAs today where they can practice on the field. He's there in time for that. That's obviously voluntary work. We'll see how much of it he's there for, but obviously good sign for them that he's there at the beginning of it. This has sort of always been the way it was going to end. We've gone back and forth about what's taken so long, et cetera, et cetera. Rodgers just does things on his timetable. The Steelers are well aware of that. If there was any frustration in the building, it was probably over just not knowing, but I don't ever get the sense it was enough to get them to consider moving in a different direction. They always felt like he was going to come play for them in 2026, and it appears that that is what is going to happen.
D. Wood, DraftKings has the Steelers win total this year at 8.5, which is absolutely perfect because we all know about their long run of non-losing seasons. Which side of that would you take right now? Would you take the over or under on 8.5 wins this year in Pittsburgh?
Yeah, Greeny, I'll take the under. And, the last time we saw the Pittsburgh Steelers, was Aaron Rodgers basically running for his life against the Houston Texans and just looking like a shell of himself, not pushing the ball down the field, not looking like a guy who didn't want to get hit. And also remember that Steelers defense is one of, if not the oldest, defense in the National Football League, so they'll be a year older as well. So I know this Pittsburgh Steelers team organizations always talk about competing. They don't do rebuilds, but man, when you look at the parts of this team, it's just hard for me to believe that this team will be competitive, with the likes of Baltimore and maybe Cincinnati in that division.
I'm curious, Dan, what we know of the relationship between Rodgers and McCarthy, because I was sitting here doing this chair. We were in a different studio, but I was in this chair when Mike McCarthy got fired as coach in Green Bay, and I think there was at least some perspective that it was because he was clashing with Rodgers. What do we know about that?
Well, they were losing. And look, I think the relationship is in a better place now because it's been more than 7 years since they've lost a game together. And obviously, I think given time, and Rodgers has talked about this, it's kind of the time that's gone on in between has helped him sort of appreciate what he and Mike McCarthy accomplished together. So I do think there's been a little bit of a softening of a relationship that was absolutely frayed, if not broken, by the end of Mike McCarthy's time in Green Bay. It all sounds great. But again, if things were to start to go bad, if the Steelers were to lose games, have a rough season, I mean, the fact of the matter is we've seen with Aaron Rodgers how it goes. And he makes sure that he's not the one getting blamed.
I think it's worth noting, though, D. Wood, you can speak from the perspective of a veteran. They have these young quarterbacks in the building. One they drafted, both of them were late-round draft picks, but in each of the last 2 years, they've drafted quarterbacks to try and develop. And some of us on the outside might be saying, throw the kid out there. Let those kids play. See what you get out of it. If you're a veteran in that locker room, do you feel better today that Aaron Rodgers is there?
Yeah, absolutely you do, because Aaron Rodgers, of all the quarterbacks in that quarterback room, he gives you the best chance to win. I don't know if it's the best thing for the Pittsburgh Steelers as an organization, but yeah, listen, no one can deny the wealth of experience that Aaron Rodgers brings to the table. He had some semblance of success last year, and it dwindled towards the end of the season. But yeah, Aaron Rodgers is absolutely QB1 with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I've said it before. I'll say it again. I'm in the interesting business. I just root for interesting things to happen. Aaron Rodgers being there remains, at least to some degree, interesting. Let's see if their team can be interesting this year. I'll remind you, as mediocre as it looked, they won the division last year. Coming up.
Oh, hey, how you doing? It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, especially if you're in Pittsburgh. This morning, it is official. Aaron Rodgers is back at the Steelers facility this morning, and that is new on SportsCenter. Sources telling our Adam Schefter Saturday night that Rodgers is returning to the Steelers on a one-year deal that could be worth up to $25 million, and that footage in this morning as the Steelers have OTAs this week.
He's got corded headphones.
Of course he does, man. Do one deep dive on the internet and you'll get some too. Hey, what's up? Brooke Pryor joining us from the Steelers facility this morning. Close personal friend to the program.
Fair enough.
Me and Randy Scott. Brooke, great to see you. What is today going to look like for Rodgers at OTAs?
Well, Gary, it's important to remember Aaron Rodgers does not have to be here, but he is here. Consider this maybe a freshman orientation or a meet the teacher night. They'll go more into, team building and full offensive install once we get to training camp, but they're going to start setting the foundation for that here at OTAs, which is why it was so important for the Steelers to get him in the building, to get used to this new coaching staff. Old to him, new to some, new teammates, a lot to start learning and installing. You can see there, Aaron Rodgers arrived at the facility before 7 a.m., one of the first guys in the building. He left a little after 7 with a staffer, came back about 40 minutes later, likely to take a physical, because there are still some, paperwork things that have to get done, because while we know that he is returning on a 1-year deal, he still has to sign that paperwork, and then he'll get to work. We'll see him out on the field here in a couple hours. They should be at their first OTA practice a little after 11 a.m.
Rodgers, of course, is going to be reuniting with his former head coach and Mike McCarthy. The duo won a Super Bowl together in Green Bay. What are you hearing about what their relationship is like at this point?
Look, time heals all wounds. Things might have been rocky when Mike McCarthy's tenure ended in Green Bay, because remember, he was fired while Aaron Rodgers was the quarterback. Aaron Rodgers, his frustrations, I think, played a big part in that. But it's been some time, and I think that their relationship has been reestablished because Rodgers has been in contact with Mike McCarthy throughout the offseason. That's one thing the Steelers have maintained during this long wait, that he's been in constant communication with the front office and the head coach. He has been aware of everything going on in the building. So I think they're going to be pretty excited to see each other today.
People are wondering, Brooke, we're going to get you out on this. That person is Randy Scott. What was the flavor of choice for Aaron Rodgers at the reported ice cream meet in Pittsburgh?
Very important.
It was a butterscotch freeze, not a cup or a cone. He was at Cool Cones in North Park, about 30 minutes from here on Friday night. Ordered a butterscotch, which feels very fitting for a 42-year-old. Not that that's old, but that is
correct.
kind of an old man.
It's not
flavor.
old, Brooke. Thank you.
43 in December, and you don't get this kind of reporting anywhere else. Brooke Pryor knows the flavor of the ice cream that Aaron Rodgers had in his return.
The
I'm
freeze.
sorry,
The freeze.
Yep. I apologize.
Yep.
Brooke Pryor, always great to see you. Thanks so much.
Yeah, and a little bit of hot fudge, too.
That's why you're the best.
It really makes you think. Senior NFL writer Jeremy Fowler joins us. He's a bit of a fudge ripple guy. What's your ice cream of choice?
Mint chocolate chip. I go.
My man.
Pretty solid. Keep it simple.
Toothpaste in a scoop. Jeremy, what more can you tell us about this deal finally getting done?
Well, after Aaron Rodgers got his vegan ice cream or whatever he got, he's going to have to show up to the team facility, sign his deal, which he hadn't done yet. Word is he had been in and out of town over the last week, but the Steelers were sort of waiting this out. They've been in constant communication with Rodgers and his agent. They had to work out a contract that was part of this. Even though Rodgers, I'm told, isn't motivated by money at this stage, he played below market last year at around $14 million. That did need to change. So they upped his coin a little bit, and the urgency of OTAs was a factor too, because they're going to hit the field on Monday. The expectation is Aaron Rodgers will sign that deal over the next 24 to 36 hours, get on the field with his teammates who still believe that Aaron Rodgers can get it done. That's part of this. The team is backing Rodgers. They like how he played last year.
Yeah.
Rodgers feels like he's got something left. He loves Pittsburgh, loves his teammates, so the good vibes will continue.
Okay, we'll stay in the AFC North, and OTAs remains the theme. The Ravens and the Browns set to kick off as well. Let's talk about Deshaun Watson heading into his 4th season on the roster. What are you hearing about his chances of regaining the starting spot?
So he'll be a factor in OTAs when they start going with first-team reps, second-team reps. So he's been a factor already on the practice field. I'm told he's hit it off with Todd Monken, who's got an offense with some spread offense concepts, some elements that Watson has run in the past and been his best at. A little bit of a departure from what they were running with Kevin Stefanski. So look, talking to people around the league, they believe that Watson could eventually earn this job because he's a veteran presence. And if he can get back to just 70 or 80% of what he was from those Houston days, maybe they can sort of salvage this trade, get one productive year out of him. And you got Lamar Jackson, so the contract is looming. The team is up front. They've been public saying we want to get this done with Lamar Jackson, but no deal as of yet. And there are some rumblings around the league about, hey, does he want to maybe wait this out a little bit, see what happens with the quarterback market over the next, say, 8 to 10 months? Because you have all these young stars like Drake May, Jaden Daniels, Bo Nix, could get deals. They're eligible for deals next offseason. Jackson's going to want to top those guys potentially based on what he's done in the league. So, he's in a position of leverage. He can wait this out, go ball out this year, and see what happens. So the Ravens, you got a couple months before training camp to try to close that gap, though, and see if they can get a deal done.
I want to go back quickly to Deshaun Watson. He's going into his 4th season with the Browns. He has never played in more than 7 games in a single season yet after signing that massive, massive deal. Jeremy Fowler with the latest this morning on SportsCenter.